Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something intense. We're exploring the dark side of ambition. What happens when just raw intellect, this ferocious will, slams up against society, against class?
Exactly. We're diving deep into the story of Martin Eden, using these sources that really paint a picture of his journey. He starts as this working-class sailor, kind of rough but strong,
Right.
and then he tries to become this self-taught intellectual, a writer. And the big question we're wrestling with is, can pure willpower, sheer genius even, actually break through a system that's almost designed to keep someone like him out?
Yeah, and it's not straightforward, is it? The sources show his whole transformation kicks off the moment he meets Ruth Morse. He steps into her family's world and bam, everything is foreign.
It's so well captured, that initial shock. He feels like a wild animal caught somewhere it doesn't belong. Super sensitive, disciplined, but also just terrified of messing up.
Mm-hmm. And he's surrounded by all these things he just doesn't get, like that oil painting.
Oh, yeah. Up close, he says it's just a careless daub of paint.
Right. But then he steps back.
And suddenly it makes sense. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's like a symbol for their whole world, isn't it? You need the right perspective, the right distance, the right background, maybe.
Totally. And he's sweating the small stuff, too. Like at dinner, he's dreading the finger bowls.
That sounds minor.
But it's huge for him. It just screams about this massive gap between his life, physical, hard, and theirs, all refined and, well, maybe a bit weirdly ritualistic. He knows he's on thin ice.
That first visit, it changes everything. It's not just that he admires Ruth. He sees her and her family representing this whole other way of being.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty, books, intellectual life.
And he decides right then and there.
Pretty much instantly. This is something worth fighting for, the sources even say "I" and "die" for. It's that dramatic.
Wow. But that gap you mentioned, it's like a canyon. Let's talk about that class difference. It's visceral. You've got Ruth's hands, pale, soft, like flowers, never done a day's hard labor.
And then Martin's hands, rough, calloused dirt, literally ground into them from years at sea. It's right there, written on their bodies.
Even the way he thinks about affection shows it. He remembers his sister Gertrude, completely worn out by housework. Her kiss tastes of soap suds, of pure exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. And he contrasts that with this idealized Ruth, imagining her lips having this cool sweetness. He's basically looking for a life where women aren't just broken by work.
So, to even get close to that life, he has to fight this language battle first. Ruth is constantly correcting it.
Oh, constantly. He says ain't been for been, mixes up verbs like come and came.
And she points out he's always chopping his endings, like saying an instead of and. Think about the mental effort just to speak correctly.
He gets it, though. He knows his old way of talking, his old life was all mixed up with grub and house rent and scrapping and booze. That's the phrase he uses.
Yeah.
And he wants something different. He wants to breathe air that is filled with books and pictures and beautiful things, where people talk quietly and are clean.
Cleanliness meaning more than just soap, right? Intellectual, maybe moral cleanliness.
I think so. And this ambition, it leads to this absolutely insane work ethic. He needs the knowledge now. So he actually turns his back on formal education. High school, university classes, like Latin. Nope.
Wait, he rejects school because it's too slow. That seems like a huge gamble. Are the sources saying formal learning just gets in the way of real genius?
Well, for Martin, it seems like it's about pure necessity driving the pace.
Yeah.
He has this instinct that the speed of a fleet is the speed of the slowest ship.
Ah, okay. He can't afford to be held back.
Exactly. So he just pushes himself. We're talking up to 19 hours a day studying, sleeping only when he literally collapses.
19 hours. That's self-destruction almost. How long did he keep that up?
For months, according to the sources. And to cram it all in, he buys a dictionary, fills notebooks just with words. He sticks lists of definitions up on his mirror on the walls. He's hunting for the structure underneath it all, the tie ribs of language grammar, and the tie ribs of poetry meter, form. He sees grammar not as rules, but as the skeleton holding everything up.
Okay, so he builds this knowledge base at lightning speed, but it sounds totally chaotic. He's just grabbing at everything, right? Old philosophy, new science.
Oh, completely. He's reading Marx, Ricardo, Adam Smith, all these economists with different ideas.
Yeah.
Then he's diving into really complex, kind of mystical stuff, like the secret doctrine.
He must have been reeling.
The sources say he was bewildered. He just didn't have the thought tools yet to organize it all. Thousands of facts buzzing around in his head, but no connections. He even thinks about just reading the dictionary cover to cover.
Just to get some kind of solid ground.
Yeah. But then, the breakthrough. And it doesn't come from literature or economics. It comes from Herbert Spencer.
Ah, Spencer. That's the aha moment, isn't it? The thing that suddenly makes the universe make sense to him. Spencer shows him the correlation of knowledge.
That's the key. It unlocks everything. Suddenly, all those random bits of information he's absorbed, sailing, economics, physical labor, poetry, they all click together. It's like a system forms in his mind.
Well, it's not just knowing stuff, it's seeing how it all connects. Did that feel like a superpower?
Absolutely. He starts seeing connections everywhere. The energy from the sun, how it gets into the food he eats, how that fuels his muscles, his brain, everything from stars to sand, it's all related. This cosmic view convinces him he's achieved intellectual mastery.
And with that mastery comes the decision he has to write. Not just for money, though he needs it, but to win Ruth. To be a spokesman for life.
Yeah, he wants to capture that exquisite beauty he saw at sea, write an epic on the glass. He dreams of making like $100 in a few days instead of slaving away for months on a ship.
But the dream hits reality hard, doesn't it? The literary market.
Oh, it's brutal. That hope of quick cash just evaporates. Manuscripts keep coming back, rejected. He's burning through money, fast board, postage for sending out maybe 40 manuscripts at once.
40. Wow.
He ends up having to pawn his watch, his suit, anything valuable, which cuts him off even more from Ruth's world, of course.
And that forces him into probably the lowest point physically. That steam laundry job, you can almost smell the place reading about it.
It's incredibly vivid. He's working alongside this guy, Joe, in unbearable heat, feeding the mangle, ironing till late at night, just brutal, repetitive labor.
He calls it hell, doesn't he?
Starkly. This is hell. He says the work itself is just an effect of his decline, not the cause. It's mind-numbing. He sleeps this heavy, animal-like sleep, feeling too tired to feel sleepy.
That phrase is chilling. Too tired to feel sleepy.
And even then, he's trying to study. He has to literally bat his head against the wall to stay awake long enough to read Fisk on evolutionary science after a full day in that heat. He's risking his sanity for knowledge.
The physical toll is immense, but maybe the mental side, the constant rejection, is even worse. How does all that failure start to shift his thinking, especially after he felt he'd made that huge intellectual leap?
Well, the friction with Ruth's world just gets worse, because his intellectual journey is taking him further away from their standards, not closer. He sends her his best stuff, the wine of life, his love cycle poems. He thinks the quality will finally win her over.
And she hates it.
Not exactly hates it, but her reaction is devastating in a different way. She calls it amateurish, sophomoric. But here's the key. It seems like she's not just critiquing the writing itself, she's rejecting where it comes from. It's unprofessional, it's not authorized.
She wants him to follow the approved path. Get a job, be respectable.
Exactly. Like this Mr. Butler she mentions, making $30,000 a year, safe, industrious. That's the model. She even dismisses his attempts to make quick cash writing jokes and little verses as a jester's dollar.
Implying his talent should be used for something serious, something established.
Right. But Martin sees his own path, that creative fire, his hard-won independence, as the only way to reach the heights he's aiming for.
And this split pushes his philosophy in a new direction, doesn't it? He starts getting influenced by socialist speakers, but then twists it into something else.
Yeah, it gets complex. He hears these agitators in the park, but ends up developing what the sources call a Nietzschean position. He starts railing against the slave morality of the masses. It's becoming quite elitist, actually.
Like, I struggled for my knowledge, so I'm superior to you people who just inherited your culture.
Kind of, yeah. He starts seeing the very people he used to idolize, the cultured elite, as just chattering daws or ponderous bromides, all surface, no depth.
And this comes out spectacularly at that dinner party with Professor Caldwell.
Oh, that scene. He basically tells this established English professor that he doesn't understand literature because he lacks biology.
He actually says that.
Yep. Argues you can't understand books or laws without understanding the stuff and constitution of life, the law of evolution. It's the self-taught sailor schooling the professor on fundamentals.
How does that go down?
Ruth is horrified, obviously.
Yeah.
But the professor, he actually kind of admits Martin has a point.
Yeah.
Says he's maybe too classical, not up on the latest science. So Martin, in a way, validates his own path, right there against institutional authority.
But he must feel isolated. He needs someone who gets it, who feels that same fire.
And then Brissenden shows up, Russ Brissenden, only the second intellectual man Martin's ever really connected with. He's described as a lunger, so probably dying of tuberculosis. with this flaming uncontrol of genius.
Sounds intense.
Totally. He's brilliant, cynical, dying, and has absolutely zero time for polite society or literary games.
What does he think of Martin's work?
He thinks it's got guts, real substance, which, he says, is exactly why the magazines keep rejecting it. They prefer wish-wash and slush.
So finally, validation from someone he respects.
Huge validation.
Yeah.
Brissenden calls Martin's poetry wonderful, compares him to a young Greek, a young panther. It's incredibly affirming, but it comes with this dark warning. Stay away from the bourgeoisie, especially the women. He predicts they'll worry you until you die.
Ominous. And tragically ironic because success does eventually come, right? But way too late.
Exactly. The tide turns almost randomly, it seems. Those manuscripts that were rejected over and over, Adventure, The Ring of Bells, they suddenly start selling. And for big money, like $300, $350 a piece, overnight, Martin Eden is famous.
And that's the core of the tragedy, isn't it? The randomness of it.
It's the central puzzle for him. The same people Judge Blount, his brother-in-law Bernard Higginbotham, those guys at the Arden Club who wouldn't give him the time of day when he was starving, now they're inviting him to dinner, praising the exact same work they ignored before.
Because now he has money and status.
Right. He realizes it's all about the external signals. The mob mind, he calls it, operates by fawn or fang. They didn't value his mind or his art. They value the success, the fame, the money.
The realization must be crushing. All that effort, all that struggle. And it wasn't the quality that mattered in the end, just the timing and the perception of success.
It completely hollows him out. But interestingly, he uses the money well at first. Shows his basic kindness hasn't totally vanished. He pays off all his debts.
Helps out his family.
Yeah, sets up his brother-in-law, Herman von Schmidt, with a bicycle shop. And maybe most touchingly, he buys Maria Silva, his Portuguese landlady who was so kind to him when he had nothing, a milk ranch and her house outright. No more rent worries for her.
That's decent of him. But inside, he's shutting down.
Completely. And then comes the final scene with Ruth. She comes back to him. She says she's changed. She's overcome her fear of what people think, defied her parents. She's ready for him now, even offers free love, says she's learned to love better.
But Martin...
He's empty. Successful, famous, but emotionally dead. He feels nothing when she approaches him, just this profound apathy. The fight that drove him, winning her, it's over. The reason is gone.
So he tells her.
It is too late. He says he's lost all values. He's sated with life. The engine has just stopped.
The ultimate Pyrrhic victory. He got everything he thought he wanted, but the process destroyed the part of him that wanted it.
And then there's that final bitter twist. As he leaves, he spots Ruth's brother, Norman, hiding nearby.
No way. So her big act of defiance
Was staged, or at least supervised, chaperoned by her class, even in rebellion. Martin just bursts out laughing, this bitter laugh at the hypocrisy, the sheer bourgeois predictability of it all.
Wow. So he's truly disconnected now. He sacrificed himself to get this genius, but the world he entered only cared about the cash, not the mind behind it.
Exactly. He ends up on a ship, the Mariposa, sailing away. He's still strong physically, but he feels no connection to anyone. Not the working-class sailors he came from, not the wealthy passengers in first class. He's utterly alone, alienated.
How does he describe that feeling?
He said life has become like a strong white light that hurts the tired eyes of a sick person. Just painful illumination. He tries to find something to hold on to, writing again, thinking about socialism, but nothing works.
And so?
Yeah. It's a deliberate, quiet act. He slips overboard and just swims down into the ocean until that incredible will finally breaks and the air leaves his lungs. He chooses oblivion.
Such a powerful, devastating story about the cost of trying to remake yourself entirely. The knowledge came, the fame came, but they couldn't save his spirit. Which leaves us, and you listening, with this question, I think. Was Martin's end inevitable? Was it just the tragic result of trying to force individual genius onto a rigid social system that wouldn't bend?
Or was that incredible, almost superhuman force of will he possessed, that raw intellectual power, was it just inherently unsustainable? Could it have survived in any world once it was fully unleashed?